So, what if I told you GDP, green transition, digital transition, everything collapses when housing fails? Digital skills, green mobility, productivity, all gone. This isn't just about mortgages or rent, it's about the invisible infrastructure of innovation, meaning people. Where people live, work, and create. That's the invisible infrastructure. Without affordable housing, even the best research projects will die on paper. My guest today, Pedro Pinheiro from the Portuguese Business School ISCAL, said something powerful. Students need to feel part of something bigger, not just in the classroom, but across Europe. And that's the key to the future of EU innovation. Projects that don't just train people, don't just reskill or upskill people, but give them a place to belong. In this episode, we explore how housing affordability decides who actually participates in innovation and why the next wave of EU projects must connect space, data, and place. Speaking of space, we'll also look at the Horizon Call. The Horizon Call open right now. It's a 5 million opportunity to build resilience through space-based applications. This episode shows how space tech, education, and housing collide to shape Europe's future. If you care about innovation that actually works for people, stay until the end. And don't miss my new book, Transition Science in the Economy, launching November 15th. The link is in the notes. Hope you enjoyed the episode. So, what if I told you every transition collapses when housing fails? No affordable homes, well, no digital skills, no green mobility, no productivity, and yet most innovation projects still treat housing as an afterthought. That's the paradox I unpack in my new book, Transition Science in the Economy, coming out this November 15th. Um, Housing isn't just real estate, it's infrastructure for human potential. So, without stable, affordable housing, people can retrain, reskill, commute, or innovate. Every euro invested in digital upskilling or clean transport is wasted if people can't afford to live near opportunities. The AWTY data shows it clearly. Countries with lower housing stress score higher in every other transition: digital, green, new globalization, or economy transition, everyone. So, what does this mean for research and innovation teams? It means your Horizon Europe proposal can't ignore housing. When you design pilots for smart cities, mobility, or green skills, ask where will people actually live? Real people will actually live. Can they afford to stay where the innovation happens? Add housing indicators to your impact logic. It boosts social relevance and evaluator scores. So partner with local authorities, housing cooperatives, or social innovators. They turn your research into live transformation. That's what transition science is about, connecting the dots between sectors and policymakers that still are treated separately. We can't digitalize, decarbonize, or globalize if people are priced out of their cities. Housing affordability decides who participates in innovation and who's left behind. It's not a side effect, it's the foundation. That's why transition science in the economy redefines prosperity as the ability to live, work, and create in same place, your chosen place. So if you're writing a proposal, designing a pilot, or shaping policy, read my book. It shows how housing links to every major transition: green, digital, water economy, new globalization, everything. Tradition Science in the Economy launches November 15th. Pre-order now. It's available for pre-order on Amazon. And start rethinking what innovation readiness really means. Because no transition succeeds without a place to call home. I'll run a LinkedIn event on that day, November 15th. Register now and start measuring what really matters. Check my LinkedIn. So, welcome back to InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles. Thank you for being here. I want to welcome Pedro Pinheiro. He's here with me today. Thank you for your time. How are you doing today?
Fine. I think it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
So, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and our institution?
Okay, I work here at ISCAL since 2004. Mainly, I teach subjects in the field of accounting, sustainability, corporate social responsibility. ISCAL is a higher education institution with more than 2 centuries of history. Today we have more than 3,000 students divided in several bachelor and master courses, 7 bachelor and several master courses, mainly in the field of business. All of them with a strong focus in accounting, auditing and taxation issues. That's our core business. It's what we are well known for.
That is a part of the Polytechnic University of Lisbon, and as such is a partner in the Eureka European Alliance.
True.
Right? So how did you get involved with this Eureka, the European Alliance?
We have heard about the Eureka European Alliance since since the beginning. Mainly we are trying to help developing the interaction level between the universities, mainly the business schools. Since last year, Eureka Connects, we start having regular meetings to discuss some issues that are more related with the business school approach, and also we are working on a joint master proposal to try to at least create some awareness in the field of business regarding the Eureka University Alliance, which is for sure one of the most difficult things to deal with, which is to create awareness that Eureka exists, what should be its purpose, how can both students and staff can contribute to.
So that's one thing that I believe makes Eureka a little bit different from the other projects I've worked in. It's not destined only to staff. You really want to involve students. What are your plans? What can you do to involve students in this project?
Okay, first, as you mentioned, the student focus, it's something completely different from several other projects that we were already involved in, and at the same time, it is one of the main challenges, because this generation that we have today in here, Gen Z, it's difficult to get their attention. It's even more difficult to get their attention to something that they are not familiarized with. So the first thing that we need to do is to inform them, to provide them with all the information regarding the Eureka Alliance, and to explain them properly, what are the main advantage from this project? What they can take from the project? Because there is here, let's say, selfish approach from them towards several initiatives. They need to understand, for them, what will they gain in being enrolled in something. And I think that's one of the things that we must be clear. Explain them why it is important to be part of it. What will be the key features for them once they, for example, go to the labor market? What do you reckon brings them in order for them to be different once they approach the market? That's one thing. The second thing, it's still related with students, but at the same time it is cultural, which is to move forward with the staff and ask all the teachers to disseminate also the Eureka culture, explain them why it is important, create networks with colleagues from the other universities, and develop some initiatives. Like, for example, it doesn't have to be something really difficult. We can start with simple things like a coil, for example, or joint classes in which the students start being familiarized with their colleagues from the other universities. Create not only the awareness, but also the knowledge about how should they interact with their colleagues. What are the advantages for them of being inserted in a multicultural environment? Because I think our students need a lot to start having a new approach toward the idea of a classroom. Once we are talking about Eureka, their classroom is not only here in Lisbon. Their classroom is spread, or can be spread, or should be spread all across Europe. They can have a class with a colleague from Amsterdam or from Helsinki, or with a Portuguese colleague, but at the same time Finnish students could be attending the class. And for them that's a change on the mindset, because they are usually used to deal only with the issues that they can control within those walls, within the classroom. They know every day the teacher, and they know all their colleagues. And culturally they are very similar, so they felt comfortable dealing with that.
It's
and
a
need
big
to
leap.
change.
It's a big leap dealing with other people, students from other cultures, other languages, other countries. But let me get back to how to involve students. Do you bet more on formal arrangements, formal channels to get in touch with students and spread the word? Or do you believe that the informal, like using their parties or whatever, is a better way to spread the word about the benefits of Eureka?
I believe in a mixed approach, but the focus I think it should be on the informal part. If we take it too formal, I think we might lose their attention after the first 5 minutes of a formal presentation about Eureka. They need to feel what Eureka is about. If they don't feel it, they will not be engaged. And the best way for us to make them feel what Eureka is about is it has to be on an informal way. It has to be in social activities. It has to be through the Students' Association. it has to be through social networks with, for example, short videos or short presentations, combined with a formal approach that should be well balanced, but the formal approach should only work as a way for them to understand that this is a formal project. It exists within the university, but then the rest we should communicate on a more informal way, because if don't, I think we will not get their attention.
And what do they stand to gain from participating in this project? What can we tell them that will bring their attention and their willingness to join this project? Is there something obvious that they stand to gain from joining the project, the activities?
I think there are two things that for this generation usually works well. The first is the purposing. Most of them cannot even explain what they understand as looking for a purpose in everything. But once we ask them what is important for them, most of them answer us that I need to have a purpose. So I think one way to approach them is through the purpose thing, to explain them the big picture, what is behind this Eureka, and make them feel that they are being part of something bigger. That's one thing. The other thing is related with their approach to the market. It's to make them understand that this kind of international experience, like the ones that Eureka can provide, this multicultural approach that can be provided by the Eureka activities can make a huge difference for them in having the career of their dreams. It doesn't have to be completely true that this will happen, but if we show them that they can have the opportunity through the Eureka, I think they will be more aware of getting the information that we want them to.
I think that's a very important issue, and I really love talking about this. Are you sure about that? Because I don't see the European university system going nowhere near the implementation of Europe-wide degrees. I mean, you get a degree in Portugal, it's valid in Portugal. Okay, we've been in the European Union for 40 something years. Nothing changed about that. Are these projects like Eureka something that will help Finnish student develop an international career in Europe? I mean, he crosses the border to Sweden. My geography is not great, but he crosses the border and his degree may not be valid anymore. Is this a step forward in the creation of a European labor market?
At least it should be. It should be. It's a challenge. We've talked about for the higher education European area for several decades, but as you mentioned, I get a diploma in Portugal. If I decided to go and apply for a job somewhere in Europe, I might have some constraints, mainly when we are talking about professions that have a strong normative environment.
If you're an accountant,
for example,
for us, or a dentist.
But even in accounting, there was some steps forward that were done over the last decades. For example, most of the professionals that came from abroad and want to work as an accountant in Portugal, they have an easy way to do it, even regarding our Portuguese legislation. But for the students, I think more than the formal opportunity of having an international career, I think for them it's more like the personal development that the Eureka actions can bring to them. Even if it is not formal, the recognition, I think they will be well prepared to face the challenges of living in Portugal and, for example, apply for a job in Finland or in the Netherlands, because they will be this kind of experience, this multicultural experience that Eureka can help them to have, can play an important role for them to face the challenges, to feel that they are well prepared to face those challenges. Yeah, I think it will be more about self-recognition, about confidence, rather than a formal recognition that this kind of initiatives can have today. But I hope that in the near future we can have both formal and informal.
Yeah, I don't see us going that way, but I hope you're right.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. Well, still talking about students. You were a student here.
Yeah.
Would you join Eureka if you had that chance at the time?
Today, for sure. 20 years ago, I don't know, and I can explain.
So what changed?
First, I studied here in 1997 until 2000, more or less, and the awareness regarding the importance of having international experience was completely different than the one that we have today. We were talking about Erasmus by that time.
Yeah.
There was some other programs like Leonardo da Vinci and some other exchange programs. But first, we don't know a lot about them. There were not so many participants that can provide endorsements.
Yeah, no testimonials.
And third, companies didn't make by that time any distinction between having or don't have an international experience. 20 years after, things changed a lot. First, there are lots of testimonials about how this kind of experience improve. First, in some cases, how it changed the life of the participants, how we improved their quality as professionals, which means that the students know that is important. One thing, then even if they don't know, every time that we receive here a company that is presenting itself to the students or that are on a recruitment process, all of them mention that for us it is important that you have several things. First, international experience. Second, work experience. Or third, that you can present something more than having a degree, that you help people, or that you play a sport, or that you have some social activities.
Have a life.
Be a complete citizen rather than be just a technical and scientific one. And that's why I answer that today. Because today I can easily understand why it is important. Why did I gain in going abroad and living the comfort of living with my family in my country, and to face all the difficulties that are related in
leaving your comfort zone.
And to build up something that most of our students don't know how to do it, and I think this kind of experience can help them, and that's why, if it is today, for sure, I will for sure advise my daughter to go abroad to an European university activity, or to take advantage of Erasmus or an international internship. And it is important for me that she understood why it is important since the early age to break some barriers, that Europe is more than Portugal, the world is more than Europe, and to give her a sense of what are the possibilities, and we are not confined in our borders, national borders.
Okay, enough about students. Do you see other stakeholders that would be important to involve in Eureka?
Yeah, for sure. For all the reasons that I mentioned, the main employers. First, I see higher education institution as a middleman between the students and the market. It's not a very, let's say, unanimous opinion, but we are here to prepare both technical, scientific, and regarding personal skills, the students to be prepared to face,
to be professionals,
what the market expects from them. And in this sense, companies could play an important part here, can play an important part in helping us stress the importance of being enrolled in Eureka activities, for example. Because one thing is we, as an institution, tell the students. A different thing is the teachers in the classroom tell them that it's important. A completely different thing is to have a company telling them that it is important.
A potential employer telling them this is valued.
If you want to work with us, if you want to have this kind of career, I consider that it's important doing this, and this. For them, it's completely different. So I think companies must be part of the solution.
How can Eureka, how can ISCAL get these partners involved, these stakeholders involved in the project?
First, there are several approaches. One, through research projects, for example, or R&D projects. They can be a part, they should be a part of those projects. The second one, when we are talking about more academic projects, they can be a part too. Today we have the blended intensive program under the Erasmus umbrella, and for example here, all our blended intensive programs must have a company working for the project, even if it is just to provide with a case study, or to deliver some seminars, or on a more deeper way to cooperate. The company can be the focal point of the entire program, providing not only the case study, but also providing the seminars and evaluating the students on a completely professional environment. So we should bring companies to these kinds of initiatives rather than just make them closing within the academia. So we can bring companies to R&D projects, to academic projects, and even when we are talking about making some strategic decisions toward the alliance, I think companies should be a part. At least they should be heard about what are their expectations regarding the evolution of several issues, because if don't, we could be doing something that could result on an inbreeding process. It will be the academia thinking about how to develop itself without having the inputs from the stakeholders. For example, we are working on a joint degree, a master joint degree, and now we are in a phase related with developing the curricula, in which we decide to ask the companies what do they consider important as a learning outcome for that kind of project. And on a historical perspective, but also on a perspective. How do they face the evolution on that field? What do they expect to be the key skills within 5, within 10 years? That's another way to bring the companies to this process.
Okay, so I don't want to steal your whole day. We must close the interview, but I'm not going to close it without asking, what do you see yourself and the institution doing in the next 5 to 10 years, as you said? What can we see for the future?
Of course, I hope that ISCAL can be a key player in the Portuguese higher education environment in the field of business. But at the same time, I would like to see ISCAL being a player at an international level also. Because it would not be honest to tell our students that it is important for them to have an international approach, to be open-minded, and then managing the institution in the opposite way. So I hope that we'll be able to have, I hope within 5 years, to have some joint programs, to have some other initiatives like dual degrees, to extend the number of blended intensive programs that we are providing, to have summer schools and winter schools here, and finally, which is I think one of the most important things, to have international level R&D projects run by ISCAL and some others in which ISCAL can participate.
Sure.
Because it makes no sense to look only to the Portuguese reality. We should be a key player in the Portuguese reality, yeah, we should be. We must be honest and face the truth, which is we need to look to the Europe as a bigger scenery in which we need to operate with, and that I think would be the most difficult challenges to achieve, of course. But I think that's the vision. That should be our strategic goals should be aligned with the idea.
I like that idea, but I want to stress that like in other peripheral countries like Greece, even Finland, Portugal is way away from the center, so it is an effort. It's much easier for institutions that are close to the main markets. We are in this end of Europe, so it is an effort.
We are a peripheral country, for sure, but we have our assets as a country, and we should stress them, because we are, even for us that we are in Lisbon. Lisbon is a very trendy place nowadays. It is an attractive destination even for students, and I think we can use that kind of assets in order to leverage the international strategy of the organization, and at the same time we must be sure that that's our vision, that's where we want to be within 5 years, because if we are not sure, we will be not able to be there. So
absolutely. So any final message to end the interview?
Yeah, I think that this kind of initiatives like Eureka should be stressed, should be encouraged, both as an institutional level, but not only as an institutional level, but we need to go deeper, and we need to spread the word. We need to tell all the staff members, we need to tell all the students about the advantages of being part of something bigger. And I think that's the main message.
Okay. Thank you, Pedro Pinheiro. Thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Hope to see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
So, what if your next innovation could make Europe more resilient while getting up to $1.8 million in EU funding? This new Horizon Europe call, Horizon USPA 2026 Space 0252, is not just about satellites. It's about transforming space data into real-world resilience for crisis response, border control, infrastructure protection, and even environmental monitoring. If your team can turn satellite signals into solutions people actually use, this is your moment. Here's what the call is really about. It's an innovation action under the Digital Industry and Spacework Program 2025 with a $5 million total budget. Each project can receive $1.5 to $1.8 million to bring space-based applications to market. Not just prototypes, but operational tools with technology readiness level 7 to 9. Projects should build on Copernicus, Galileo, or EGNOS data and can combine them with other sources like AI, IoT, or drone imagery. But there's a catch. To be eligible, your consortium must include at least 2 crisis or security practitioner organizations. Think civil protection, border security, law enforcement, or humanitarian aid from 2 different EU or associated countries. That's because the Commission wants end users at the center of innovation, not as an afterthought. The expected outcomes? Market-ready applications that improve Europe's crisis management and security resilience. New business opportunities from downstream space data. And a more autonomous, connected Europe where local innovation fuels continental strength. So, who wins here? If you're a tech company, you can secure funding to scale your space-based products into real operational services. If you're a public authority or crisis responder, you can shape the solutions you actually need and get EU support to test and deploy them. And if you're an academic or research institute, this is a chance to turn your data models into impact on the ground. Applications open October 14, 2025 and close February 10, 2026 at 17 CET. 4 projects will be funded, so the competition will be fierce, but the opportunity is huge. So, if you want to strengthen Europe's resilience, build the right partnerships now. Check your eligibility, align your idea with Copernicus or Galileo, and prepare your proposal early. For full details, visit the Funding and Tenders portal and search for Horizon USP 2026 Space 0252. Because in the age of transitions, space isn't just about looking up, it's about building resilience right here on Earth.
Credits, author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.